schools. That means centrally I support dance, music, theater, and visual arts in our schools. And I'm really honored to be up here on behalf of Portland Public Schools to welcome you to the All-City District-wide Middle School and High School Honor Band Concert. Give it up for our kids. I'm on script, by the way, just because you'll be here all night. But before we talk about the extraordinary musicians you're about to hear, I want to pause and recognize the space we are in. This auditorium is a historic landmark. Long before it was a high school theater, it served as Portland's original civic theater. I know, right? For generations, people have gathered in this room to share in performance and community. What's incredible is that while the building has been modernized, the footprint remains the same. The stage is where it has always been. The audience sits where the audience has always sat. Which means today, our students are not just giving a concert, they're stepping into history. They are adding their sound to a lineage of artists who have stood in this very spot and offered something meaningful to this city. Families, you've heard practice, you know the commitment it takes to reach this stage. We are so proud of these musicians and the work they've done to prepare for today. I want to acknowledge the many people whose expertise and care brought this day to life. Our district leadership, our host school, administrators, custodial crew, music shop staff, and the PPS employees working throughout the building all have helped. There are many more hands in this auditorium and this audience that this audience will ever see, and we are deeply grateful. You can find the full list of those who made today possible in your program. I do want to offer a special thanks to our event leads, Gary Ryler, Cleveland High School Band Director, Mandy Burton, who you'll hear from in a minute, is the band director at Harriet Tubman High School. And Eleanor LeClaire, she is at the central office and she works to support all of our district-wide visual performing arts events. So please give it up for her too. So the scope of a production like this, from rehearsal to performance, rests on their shoulders, and our students benefit from that extraordinary commitment, so thank you to those three. Before we begin, we have a few quick safety notes for housekeeping. If we need to pause or exit the auditorium at any time, please remain calm and follow directions. PPS staff that teach every day in these buildings will raise their hands and direct you. We are well versed in trying to make sure that everybody's taken care of. So we will take care of you. Just stay calm and let people guide you. If you need assistance during the performance, someone will be nearby to help. We appreciate your partnership in helping us maintain a safe and welcoming environment for everyone. Students, and the ones up there, take a moment to look out at the audience. Every seat in this house is filled with someone who chose to be here for you. When you play, you are giving a gift back to them and to a city that believes in young people and in the arts. Band directors, thank you for the knowledge, care, and belief you pour into your students every day. Your impact reaches far beyond this performance. Audience, would you please join me in recognizing those incredible band directors? Over to Mandy Burton.
We're really excited to present these two performances to you this evening. On stage we have the All-City Middle School Honor Band. So we have 74 students up here who have never played together before. And because of the wonderful band directors we have and the amazing guest conductor, that they're going to put together a full program for you in a day and a half. So our conductor is just a fantastic music educator and advocate. She taught for 12 years at Ailey Creek Middle School in West Lynn, and then was recently our TOSA for PPS and one of our biggest advocates and huge help in our district. And now she advocates for music education and public policy all over Oregon as the public policy chair for OMEA. She is an outstanding performer herself and an absolute riot in front of the kids, yes. And we've enjoyed her company so much. We're so lucky that she had time to come work with your students over the next 2 days, and I think you're going to see just how lucky in a minute. And I am so excited to introduce Laura Arthur.
Thank you, Kristen and Mandy, for that amazing welcome. Hi, everybody. Hi. It's so good to be here and to see you. We are going to get the music started with a march entitled El Manto Dorado, which translates to the Golden Cape. Here we go. Not bad for a day and a half, right? All right, our second piece, completely switching gears, is called Of Locks and Thistles. And if you are familiar with the folk song Loch Lomond or Loch Lomond, it is very famous. It depicts the Scottish Highlands. It's a beautiful, beautiful love song about lost love. This one intertwines Loch Lomond through this really beautiful, lush setting of that folk song. So we hope you enjoy Of Locks and Thistles. right, our next piece is what we in the band world call a programmatic piece, which just means it tells a definite story. And this one is literally based on a story, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. It tells the story of Schoolmaster Ichabod Crane being chased by what may or may not be a headless horseman through the town of Sleepy Hollow. So you're going to hear some very cool ghosts from our trombone section. You're going to hear some amazing, cool, creepy things from our percussion section. It's just a really cool story. So we are providing the soundtrack for the movie in your head, depicting the legend of Sleepy Hollow. Okay, there we go. That was really fun. It has been such an amazing honor to be on the stage with these incredible young musicians. We laughed, they asked me a lot of questions about the life universe and everything. We got better. We learned a lot. We were inspired by each other's playing, and they're all going to take something amazing back to their own band rooms. Honor Band changed my life. When I was in high school, I was in a very small program, and I was all in on band. Like, this is my thing, I play bass clarinet, this is awesome, I love it, I love it. But I didn't have a tuba in my band. And my director nominated me for the Northern California Honor Band. And so I was really nervous, and I get there, and I hear the first note that we play, the full low brass section, full instrumentation, an incredibly inspiring conductor, and I'm like, is this what this is? I was all in, and now I'm ready to go, and I'm like, I'm gonna be a band director. It was that first day at Honor Band that I decided that. So, I take Honor Band incredibly seriously for what it can do to inspire students to continue on their musical journey. And these are the best students from each of their programs who are gonna go back and inspire the rest of their peers. So, Honor Band's great. I want to thank the hosts here at Benson, and thank you so much to Mandy for inviting me. Thank you to Kristen and Eleanor for tirelessly supporting the arts at the district level. Hey, remember like 3 years ago, like hot cross buns? So I want to thank you, the parents, for supporting them through hot cross buns all the way to here, and I would love you students on stage to thank your parents for all that they do for you.
Thank you!
Because you are amazing. Thank you for supporting your students on their musical journey. Let's see. This could not happen without some magical people. If you are a middle school band teacher here in the room, would you please stand up so we can really, really clap for you? Stand up, wave, let's hear it. They're amazing people. They work so hard, and they took them from hot cross buns to where they are now. So, great job, middle school band teachers. I see you. I love you. You're the best.
We love you, Miss Laura.
I couldn't be up here without putting on my advocacy hat really quickly. The importance of music and arts education, and what you can do to support that. First of all, you're here. Good job. That's step one. But sometimes it takes a little bit more. Asking what your teacher needs, asking what your principal needs to continue to have a thriving arts program, not just access, but high quality. What does that look like for your kid as they continue through their PPS experience K-12? So thinking about making a positive note to a decision maker, because they get negative stuff all the time. They hear all the complaints, but this is going to be life-changing for them. And they're going to tell you all about it. So why don't you pass that on, that positive stuff, because that's what's going to make a difference in arts education. And my final word goes to these incredible students who worked so hard, who put up with, what was the final tally called? The tally of how many times I counted off badly, it was like 8 or 9. They kept me honest. They laughed at my jokes. They worked so hard. They took my feedback and kept it going. They inspired me so much this weekend, and I'm so grateful for them for just trusting me and working hard to get better. Yay. Thank you, students. Our final piece, yes, we've arrived at our final piece. How's the title? It's got 4 words. They're all really important. Zydeco. the style of music that you find in the American South, specifically in Louisiana. It's got a very distinctive rhythmic pattern. It also features the frottoir, also known as the washboard. Would you hold that up so we can see it? So you're going to hear that among the texture. And then we have Cajun, spicy food, spicy culture. And then we have crawdads. That's what you eat at these, spicy Cajun thingies. And then we have dance, which is what this is. It's a party, it's a celebration, it's a culmination of all that we were able to do this weekend, right? It's going to be great. Awesome. So thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for supporting your kids and arts education. And enjoy Zydeco Cajun Crawdad Dance.
Good evening, afternoon, what is it? I want to remind everyone that the concert is being video recorded tonight and will be sent out to everyone, so you will get a copy of this. On the stage right now, you see 62 students from 8 Portland high schools, and they've been working really hard for the last day and a half with a very wonderful person, Mary Lou Bodeman. We do have programs, so I will just do a little summary. She retired in 2020, was the Salem Kaiser Coordinator of Music and Drama, and before that she was the band director of South Salem High School for 21 years. Oh, we got some Saxons in the house. And state champions 10 years, and at one point I think it was 8 years in a row. Yeah. Mary Lou is held in high regard in the band world for her outstanding work as a band director and her dedication to the profession as a clinician, educator, and most importantly, as a mentor to other band directors. I'm so glad that we could have Mary Lou here today. Mary Lou, it's all yours.
Happy Valentine's Day, by the way. So if this is your date, you're covered. Go out to dinner later. And especially if you have one of these, take them out to dinner because they really deserve it. They have done just an absolutely as you know, I was a high school director for many years. So middle school band students and parents. Band students, you are awesome today, and you must continue to play through high school. Sometimes you think if you don't have your middle school, this is not going to happen. And so having really strong middle school programs so very important. Laura did such a good job at, saying thank you to all sorts of, the great people that do this, but I want to certainly thank all of the high school band directors and section coaches that prepare things so well. So if you are in the audience, would you please stand up and let's have them. Special thanks to Gary Ryler, who is so wonderful to work with and make my job ever so much easier. He's a fabulous music educator, band director, but he's also organized, and sometimes that doesn't happen, with the same person. Anyway, but he's got it covered, and it really did make the preparation for this event very easy. So thank you to Gary. I also really want to applaud what's happening here in Portland Public Schools. It has not always been strong. I've been around for a long time. In fact, I will tell you a story because Kristen talked about this particular hall and the meaningful history of it. I have some history here too, because about 45 years ago, I was teaching in Portland at a small private school. And we played at a festival here on this very stage, and it was one of the most meaningful experiences of my career. So it's fun being back, because at 45 years ago, you don't remember everything. I remember we sat back there. Dr. Randall Spicer from Washington State University was my adjudicator, and he taught me how to properly play the last note of a march. And it changed me. And so many things can happen in this hall. So hopefully some of the things that we did here over the last few days has changed these musicians to go home and take these lessons. So anyway, this hall, maybe it's magic. On Valentine's Day to boot. But really good things are happening in Portland. And Kristen really is a personification of that. Having a music educator, or not a music educator, an arts educator that's in an administrative position is huge. And that's not the case normally in Oregon. And so the great improvement that is happening in the program, which is so exciting here, is really, it happens a lot because of her, and you see it reflected in the fact that your district is honoring that by having that position. So fight for it, save it, because it truly, it really matters. And I will say one other thing really about advocacy, because I think Laura really brought it up, but especially relative to high school, squeaky wheels make a difference. And one of the things that is particularly challenging for our high school music programs, and probably our programs across the board, is scheduling. And sometimes administrators want to do everything possible, but they schedule things and there are unintended consequences. And sometimes it is the fact that your kids can't get into a music class or an arts class. It doesn't have to be that way. And I will say that building principals start there. They hate squeaky wheels. If there's a principal out there, I'm sorry, please don't take it personally. However, advocate for your children. Art and music, they're core subjects. They have spent tons of time, you have spent tons of money supporting them, and, you know, flex your muscles a little bit. It is okay, because the thing is, what you have seen, the skills that they have acquired to be able to present this program go way, way beyond music. Things, tenacity, sensitivity, creativity, fine motor skills, teamwork, responsibility, all sorts of things that really are key components into making a successful adult. They may not play past high school or past college, but you know what? They're going to carry the skills and use the skills that they learned in their band class to apply it to all sorts of other things that they do. So this is not just an extra, it is an essential. So thank you. Thanks for being here. I appreciate the invitation to be here. You never know after you retire, you know, if anybody's going to remember, you know, you or whatever. So I hope I hope we did something good today. Anyways, but the program that we have chosen, really intentionally, is one that is filled with emotion. It expresses a variety of emotion. Revelry, what we began with, just the definition of the word is boisterous merrymaking. We hope that you heard that. We followed that up with an Irish ballad of love. Our next piece is going to be the most dramatic on the program. It's written in memory of a fellow composer, Claude T. Smith, who passed away, and Francis McBeth wanted to honor him and chose this piece to do it. And it paints a musical picture of the waves and groans of emotions that one experiences when dealing with great loss. And so after we put you through that, we're going to end the program with Robert Longfield's arrangement of the great Alfred Reed classic. It's his Latin fantasy entitled El Camino Real. But now we will do Francis McBeth's They Hung Their Harps in the Willows. And it takes its name from Psalm 137, which reads this: By the rivers of Babylon, there we sat down and wept. And upon the willows in the midst of it, we hung our harps.
Give it up one more time for your 2026. Thank you all for being here. I know parking's tough. We do that coming to this venue, so thanks for, bearing with us and coming in and seeing the beauty of our students. Thank you to our guest conductors so much for your work here with our students. We are really in a moment in Portland Public Schools, as Mary said, where we are building arts education and trying to sustain it. So you sitting here is a manifestation of that. We appreciate you so much for supporting our students. And before we end the night, the afternoon, and you can get on to your Valentine's plans, there's a lot that has to kind of be unwoven from here, and so we definitely want to transition and let students get to what they need. It might take a minute, so you're free to hang here or exit and wait somewhere else, but we are going to have to put all of this together. So thank you, and anybody that can help assist, that would be great too. All right, thank you so much. Have a good evening.